Hey, I did an interview a few days ago. I talk about why and how I became vegan. I think you will find it interesting. Check it out.
If you give folks who've never heard of you a little background.
I was born and raised until I was 12 years old in Asia. And I remember when I was a little boy, my father used to feed me dog meat because that was the culture. It was the accepted thing to do. Although, the funny thing is, all our family, even my father and myself, we loved dogs and we even rescued dogs from the streets to raise as our own. But this is how powerful the social conditioning is. Even though he loved dogs, he really believed the notion, the idea that we had to eat dogs to get proper nutrition. So, forward to when I was 46 years old, I was rescuing cats and I was doing TNR, like spaying, neutering cats to reduce the population, to reduce the suffering of cats. And one day I was eating something, it was a piece of meat on my plate, and I was looking at my cats. Then I had a flashback to when I was a little boy of seeing dogs getting killed right in front of my eyes. Then I said to myself, so what is the difference between the animals that I'm eating right now and my cats and the dogs that I actually love but I used to eat? So at that moment, I decided I had to stop doing what I was doing, and I started to make the change gradually. It took me, I would say, about 3 months to completely transition to a vegan. But since then, I have never looked back, and it's by far the best, the greatest decision I have made in my life.
Absolutely. I can see that it's paying out dividends. Did you, now when you made the transition, you had that revelation about, eating the meat on your plate and the dogs that you used to eat when you were a kid.
Yes.
Now, how did you make the transition? Did you read any books, any documentaries? Did somebody talk to you? Or how did you get to know veganism?
Well, funny thing is, at that time, I have never known what factory farm was. I have never seen a slaughterhouse videos. I have never seen animal abuse videos. And I was a tech dinosaur. I didn't even know what YouTube was. At the time, I still had one of those old flip phones. I didn't even know what smartphone was. I was really, really dinosaur when it came to the techs, like a computers. So when I made the decision, I kind of wandered in and I kind of discovered the YouTube at the same time. So I was kind of perusing through the YouTube videos and I came upon this YouTube movie called Comedica. It talked about all the problems of the world can be solved by each one of us doing the right thing, doing what you feel is the right thing, and that's it. That solves the whole problem. And you know how we always talk about how screwed up the politics are, how screwed up the world is, how we want this or that, world peace, compassion, and kindness. But we always talk about it, but rarely we take the initiative to do what is necessary to make the change within ourselves. So that movie taught me that I should change within, and that in turn will help change the world.
And then you decided, okay, I'm gonna give up meat. I'm going to. Oh, by the way, and some people they jump from vegetarian to vegan. Did you do that, or you just went straight vegan?
Well, I didn't. Okay, at that time, I didn't know how terrible the dairy industry was. So at that time, I just decided to give up eating meat. But I learned over that 3 months that how horrible the dairy industry is. Actually, it's more horrible than the meat industry because it's more of a prolonged torture, right? Torture of mothers and their babies. So I knew at that time I needed to go vegan, but I didn't have any friends or I didn't know a single vegan. And like I said, at that time I didn't even know what YouTube was. Facebook, I didn't join Facebook until 5 years ago. So I didn't know what Facebook was. I didn't have any information on anything. So I I'm a classic example of how not to go vegan because whatever I was eating, I just took the meat out and that's it. So basically, I was eating bread, lettuce, maybe a little bit of tomato, and I was severely under caloried. And as you know, that is one of the biggest mistake most new vegans make. They don't eat enough calories. They don't replace what they were used to eating with a new variety of foods like beans, rice, corn, whatever, to make up for the calories because animal products have a lot of calories because of the cholesterol, right? The fat, high fat. So
Yes.
for I would say about for first 2 months, I lost about 5 or 7 pounds. And at that time, I was asking myself, is this an optimal way to eat? Because I'm losing weight. And I am naturally high metabolism. So I was having concerns. But then I discovered magically the YouTube. And I started watching some of these videos on like recipes, YouTube, the vegan recipes. So what I did was I just typed in whatever food I like to eat, like pizza, and just put vegan in front of it. And voila, I had access to hundreds, sometimes even thousands of different recipes. So then I started becoming healthier. But even with that, I took the baby steps, meaning it took me 2 3 months because I was still hesitant to give up certain animal products because like most people and especially like most males, most men, I really thought I needed to eat meat to get protein. And as you know, Kevin, that is the number one, I would say it's the number one stumbling block that holds most people, especially the men, to transitioning into veganism because they really, really think only meat has the enough protein or complete protein, which is a total myth. So, yeah, so yeah, it took me 3 months, and the fish was the last thing I gave up because I really thought I needed to eat some kind of animal protein to get enough protein. But eventually, I gave up fish, and I started learning new recipes online, and I started learning how to eat outside. I started learning how to shop the right foods, and then I started gaining weight and I started feeling good. So when I turned 47 years old, I had a gym membership at the time, but I didn't really use it. I started consistently training at 47. And funny story is, when I first started working out, the trainers and the other guys at the gym, they knew that I became a vegan, and they were kind of laughing at me, laughing behind my back, because they were saying that you needed to eat animals and animal products to get enough protein, to build muscles. And mind you, these are like half my age. These guys are like half my age. So what I did was I just proved them wrong. And every year I became stronger and more ripped and more buffer. I built more muscles than they did. And slowly, year by year, they started asking me what I eat. And they started giving me a kind of respect. because I was an older guy and I was doing what they could not do. So at the gym that I go to, there is no doubt. I mean, these days, none of these guys ever talk bad about vegan diet. They actually respect it. And their head trainer, he actually refers to me some people who are interested in becoming healthier, who are like overweight, who have diseases. He kind of tells me, hey, you know what? Talk to this guy or talk to this woman, and they ask me, and I talk to them. So, I mean, to me, this is my way of bettering the world, one person at a time. So, yeah, Kevin, I really feel that the way I discovered veganism, everything that happened when I was a little boy, this all came together to make me a better person. And in turn, I really feel deep in my heart I can really help the world be a better place, one person at a time.